Welcome, everyone. We are live, and today is, oh Lord, have mercy, Thursday already. I felt like this week was like a pony, and it just wanted to, well, I should say maybe a stallion, a Mustang, and it just wanted to run. And here I am saying, wait. That's what it felt like this week. So, this is why Friday feels like it's right there. Anywho, welcome. Someone mentioned to me yesterday, because you know me in these Reddit streets. Somebody mentioned, I am so tired of manifesting. That's what somebody said. I am so tired of manifesting. I had to giggle because we manifest all day, every day. But you see, what we take issue with is being responsible. Oh, yes, being responsible. Some people can handle being responsible for some things. Some people can't handle being responsible for anything. But to bear the responsibility for the entirety of your experiences, whew, can seem a little daunting, can seem a little overwhelming. But here is the beautiful part of being responsible for your existence. We get to ward off things like hopelessness. We get to ward off things like fear, worry, panic. We get to ward those things off. How, you say? Because those things usually arise because we don't know how the situation will turn out. Hmm? That's why those things arise. But when you are taking life by, the reins, so to speak, you know the destination. What you don't know is the route of the destination. You don't know the exact route, but you know that you're on this way because you can see clearly what you have devised. You can clearly see, huh, I said this is what I want to experience, right? That's what you said. So if you said this is what I'm going to experience, why should you worry? Why should you fret? Why should you be afraid? When you do not know and you just follow blindly, meaning causation just happens. Causation is always going to happen. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. But where you and I get to bear the full responsibility is our choice for the cause. You see, when you don't know the desired effect, well, then the cause is unknown to you. But if you know the desired effect, even though the cause may be unknown, you know that if I know the outcome, the way is made. So I need not worry, I need not fret, I need not, as scripture tells us, do not grow weary in doing good. You see, we want to interpret that in one way only. Don't grow weary in doing good means they tell you don't grow weary in helping one another. But for some reason, we hear one another, but we don't hear self. We will pour and pour and pour out into someone, but forget that in order to pour out, one must be full. Hmm? We have got to remember in our responsibility for ourselves, it does not mean that you have this life and it is grand and you get no help or guidance with it. That's not what that means to be fully responsible. To be 100% responsible means you are the one choosing. Is that not what you want? You want to send somebody to the grocery store without a list and say, well, I need cheese. Okay, you need cheese. And you don't just need cheese. You get to tell them what type of cheese. Why? Or else you are at their mercy. They'll bring you their favorite type of cheese. And well, what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. So they may like that brand of cheese. You may not. So to send someone, remember, to send someone to assist you, you do not relinquish your power of choice. You still choose. How do I want my day to go? You choose. Choose how. What kind of day would you like? All we know is we want a good day. But what does a good day look like? You might not know all of the details of a good day, but you know one thing about a good day. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel at ease. It makes you feel like, ooh, you've got your best foot forward. That's what a good day feels like. You can accomplish anything. Yay, that was fun. That's a good day. And a good day is based upon how it makes you feel. So don't just say, I want a good day. You get to choose your good day. So you see, we get tired. We get tired. And you know why we get tired? Because we forget. We forget that without us making the choice deliberately, a choice will still be made. We forget that if I don't make a choice deliberately, a choice will still be made. Because a choice always must be made. So the power of being deliberate to prevent us from growing weary and tired is to choose. Just choose. You see, sometimes we choose and we say, can I have it? That's not choosing. That's asking for something. Choosing would be, oh, that's mine. I'll have that. You're being deliberate when you choose. I saw this little clip the other day of Billy Carson, and he was saying how humanity doesn't know their own power, and we're just so programmed to beg and ask for everything because we feel like we're so small and insignificant. And we're so busy pointing the finger at the other person for what they quote unquote did to us that we forget. We block out how powerful we are. We don't have time to sit and vacillate. Should I be? Should I not be? No, you don't have time for that. Take a stand, though. Take a stand. This is why it is so important to be deliberate with your choosing. That's where the actual power is, not in the help me please. Oh, you don't even know. Sometimes I say to myself, what am I going to do? That's what I say to myself. What am I going to do? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm going to do what I tell me to do. Forgot myself there for a minute. We must always remember we are the ones choosing. This is what Neville Goddard means when he says, you are the operant power. The operant power is the person who chooses deliberately. What do I mean by a choice must always be made? You will either make that choice deliberately or you will make that choice blindly. How? We've been making choices our whole lives. You just always choose the choice you've always done. Creatures of habit. So it is either you let your habit choose for you, Or you look at your habit and go, I know you've had the reins this whole time, sugar buns, but I'm making the decisions. I'm going to choose based upon what I know is possible. That's how you talk to yourself. You notice how there's no, well, maybe it'll happen. Maybe, well, as the Lord wills. But again, the question is begged to be asked, where is the Lord in you? So, as the Lord wills, you mean as you will? Well, scripture says, have I not told you that Jesus Christ is within you? So, what do you mean by within me? Well, it has to be within you. You have to be aware of it. See, but when you're not aware of it, you relinquish your power to your habits. You are not meant to be at the mercy of your habit. You are meant to create a habit that is beneficial and rule it. How do you rule it? Because you're still going to be compelled to act according to the habit. You rule it by choosing to make that particular habit. That's where you exercise your operant power. This is what prevents us from becoming weary, exhausted. You see, because what happens is we're still waiting because we're asking, we're begging, we're not commanding. You think when you are summoned by quote unquote the queen or the king, I suppose. When you're summoned, what do? You make haste to get there, don't you? See, so when you summon whatever it is, whatever experience you say, ah, I am that. Yes, I am. When you summon it and you say that's what you are, and you embody that state, well, then you hasten because you're in the power of greatness now. So let me hurry. I can't dilly dally. Can't drag my heels. I got to get there. Your Majesty beckons, right? So we don't dilly dally. We don't drag ourselves. No, we hasten. We pick up the pace. The same principle applies. There's a difference when we say, oh, but I don't know. It's taking so long. And then we're stuck in a state of waiting and wanting. You're told the state will always bear fruit for what's planted. So when you know that all I get to do is assume the state, what does that mean? Get into the mood. As I've mentioned before, we all know this. We all know that if you get into a particular mood, well, you're going to act according to that mood. That is not rocket science. How do you know it's rutting season for deer? Because they're in the mood. Oh, you know they're in the mood. We call it, oh my God, they're in heat. You see, with them, cause and effect still happens. They just go into that state because that's the state that's dictated by the seasons for them, right? They just go into it. They're governed by causation. But the unique thing about man is, or humanity, we can select, we can choose when to be in the mood. To a certain degree. Look at what happens to us in the spring. Spring fever, don't we? But we have the power to override it. Why? How? Because we're busy with work and other things. So that is non-consequential. So we can put it on the back burner. We can override the mood. So what I'm saying to you and I is this. You don't get tired, right? Not in the sense of physical exhaustion, of, trying to get something so desperately and you can't, and then you just feel frustrated and you say, fine, forget it. And then as soon as you say, forget it, it shows up. Well, what did you do? You stopped choking it. You stopped putting the bend in the hose. We do not live naturally by bending the hose. That's not how we live naturally. Naturally, we plant seeds and we know we have to reap them. And so we go about and we plant and we plant. And when a harvest comes in, we say, oh, snap, there's my experience. We live that way naturally. So why then, when we are told to become deliberate, that we think deliberate has to do with force? Deliberate doesn't have to do with force. Deliberate just simply means I am in control of the choice that I make. So that when the harvest comes in, it is the harvest that I want deliberately. You see, we do it in the garden. We don't just go outside and plant a wild garden. We plant a wild garden depending upon what we want to eat. So we have chosen our harvest. So if you can choose your harvest in the garden, in the backyard, you can choose your harvest according to the desire that is in your bosom, the thing that, I must do this. Oh, I would love to do that. But when we become deliberate, you know what we do? I would love to do that, but I don't know if I can. I would love to do that, but I don't know the right people. I would love to do that, but you know how it is. I'm a little old. I'm a little long in the tooth, so I can't. Whereas before, when you wanted to do something, you did the exact same thing, but unwittingly. You were governed by your habits. You did not choose certain things out of habit. When my mother said, I'm not good at this, so I believe her. So you didn't make the choice that you would actually like to make. You see how you second guessed yourself when you were unwitting that you were the one with the power of choice? You said, oh, but I can't because. So now that when we want to become deliberate, we do the same thing. Being deliberate means when you say, let there be, that is the end of it. Whatever you say, let there be, that has to come. Period. Because even if you don't know that you are saying, let there be, it still comes. But the true power lies within you when you make the choice. You're not at the mercy of rutting season. What if now is not the appropriate time to be rutting? Right? So you make the choice and know that the choice that you make has a response. That's why you don't say, well, maybe it'll happen. No, you know. Well, how do you know? Because the law says you must reap what you have sown. That's what the law says. The law doesn't say maybe. It says if you do this, this is going to happen. Period. So one takes you from believing and hoping, and the other puts you in a state of what? Knowing. And we do what? Act according to what we know. So what are we choosing? We are choosing the mental attitude or the mood that we want to be in. And when you choose the mood that you want to be in, do you have to ask somebody how you're going to act? Nope. Nope. You don't have to ask anybody what to do. Not when you choose the mood. When you're choosing the mood, that means you're choosing the seeds you want to plant based upon the thing you want to eat, to experience. So take it out of the garden and expand upon it for the use in your own life. If I'm the one choosing what trees to plant so that I can eat the fruits of my labor from my orchard, well, what kind of experience do I want to have throughout the day? You see, you don't pick those apples or plant those apples and strawberries because they're fun. You plant them because the way they make you feel when you eat them. For that person who goes out and picks up an egg every morning from under the hen, there's a sense of freedom there. There's a sense of control. That's the state you're in. One of control. Why? Because you have determined what food you will eat. Well, I want eggs. If you want eggs, you better get a hen. You want eggs and chicks? Then you better get a hen and a rooster. You see, we do things according to how the mood is. That's why you plant raspberries, because you love how they taste. That's why you plant peaches, because you love how juicy they are. So what experience would you like? Well, that depends. How do you want to feel? If you can expand upon how you want to feel and immerse yourself in it, you are now telling cause and effect what to do. Oh, well, every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. So if you are saying, ooh, I want this effect, duh, of course, you're dictating the cause. Cause and effect will always occur. But when you tell causation what to do, now who's got the power? That's why when Neville says it doesn't operate itself, the law doesn't operate itself. That's what he means. He means that you choose, and that's how cause and effect will unfold for you according to your choice. And that's why you're powerful. That is exactly why you're powerful. Because you can choose. You don't have to. That's like getting into an Uber. Take me somewhere. The Uber driver will look at you through the rearview mirror and go, "You think it's my choice to decide where you should go? I got things to do." But if you have taken that same Uber driver for the past 3, 4 weeks, at the same time every day, that Uber driver, when you get in, will take you to the place that he always takes you to because you do it the same time every day in the same way. Your habit. So that's why if you set that thing in motion where you choose the habit you want to do, then you don't have to tell causation what to do anymore. You've programmed causation. Through what? Your choice. You choose the same thing the same way every time. Oh, habit? Yes. Habits streamline us. They make things, run nice and smooth. You don't always have to keep making the choice. You make the choice once and you say, you know what? This is the one I want to do. And to prove that that's the one you want to do, you keep choosing it until such time you don't deliberately choose it anymore. You just follow the choice. See? That's how come everything is designed to energize us, to invigorate us. Everything is. So when you hear, I'm so tired of manifesting, whew, sing it, big boy. When you say, I'm tired of manifesting, it means you're trying to force. We don't force life to happen. We make a choice. And then life unfolds naturally according to the choice. And the choice, remember, is the mood. You always gotta be in the mood. Because if you're not in the mood, you won't act. So get into the mood, the mental state of mind. Ooh, hallelujah. I feel you, Big Daddy. I'm awake, honey. I'm awake. I trust that makes sense for you this morning. He's in the closet, but I got the door open, so... Let's take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space today. Matthias. Symmetric. Hey, Joseph. Hey, Hilarion. I see y'all here on Twitter this morning. YouTube, nobody's made themselves known in the chat, but there's a couple people here. Whew, child. Fanbase, who's in the house? Oracle Treehouse. Miss McQueen. Stephanie. Marquise. Oh, God, my ears. My ears. Flo Smiles is in the house. Okay. Whew. I can't even get up and go close the door. But I trust this morning, as you hear the bowl and bird song, that you will be bold in making your choice. That's your power. That is your scepter. As a monarch, as a king, you extend your scepter and you say, I choose you. See, now when you extend your scepter and you say, I choose you, it is the authority behind the scepter that makes the person or the thing in front of the scepter bow to it. Ooh, child. Let me... Just you wait. It's not that I don't love you, my darling. It's not that I don't love you. But you're not Hezekiah. Ooh, that should dampen the sound a little. I'm going to say this part to you again. The scepter of power is yours. That scepter of power is your choice. You are the one who says, oh, I'll have that, and I'll have that, and I'll have that. That's choice. But the scepter of power, when you make your choice, you don't say, oh, well, maybe. No, you are in authority. You have been given the authority. So when you choose with the power of the authority that's been given you. So that when you say, you point your scepter at it and you say, I choose you. The thing that you choose, the experience that you choose will bend to your command. That is why we command. We don't beg. Please, please, sir, can I have some more? Oh, well, yeah. You see, the one who's begging doesn't have any power. But the one who can bestow the thing upon the one who's begging, they have the power. So you see, you and I were not designed to beg. We've not been designed to beg, but we've been conditioned to beg. We've been conditioned to beg because if you know you had the power, you think you would beg. No. So you see, the power to extend your scepter is not the power to rule another. When you extend your scepter, you are ruling self. You are governing self to say, that is what I want. And you call those things that are not as though they were and they become. That's what you're doing. I want to be an entrepreneur. Right? That's what you want. If that's what you want, you don't say, well, it would be better to work for myself. Yeah, but look at all the things. I got to follow these kinds of taxes. I got to do this. Will you ever be an entrepreneur with that kind of an attitude? No. But if you pick up your scepter of power and you say, I am an entrepreneur. Well, what is the mood of an entrepreneur? Well, they're bold. They're decisive. Aren't they? Oh, yes, they're organized as well. For the most part. Some entrepreneurs don't have a calendar, but I digress. They're organized in their own way, but they're sure of themselves. They're confident. And what do? Get into the state of that. Begin to see yourself in that state of entrepreneur. Oh, yes, I am bold. I'm confident. I'm sure of myself. And you feel it. And then the thing that you love doing, because you're going to be an entrepreneur based on that. The thing you love doing, it will capture your attention. And you will do it because you must do it. It will compel you to do it because you love it. You know? Like if you're a seamstress and that's what you love, it doesn't matter where you go, you see a pattern. You could look up at the sky and be like, I like the shape of that cloud. You know what? That's a nice bodice. Let me make that. You see, you get the spark of creativity everywhere. That is what flows out of you as an entrepreneur, one who loves to sew and create in such a fashion. For the chef, it is the same thing. They're driven by the desire to create a dish that is beautiful and tasty, not just to the eye. Because remember, digestion begins not when you put it in your mouth. Digestion begins, when you see the color or when you smell the fragrance. Salivary amylase kicks in and you're like, I must take a bite of that. And your stomach says, we're eating, are we? Let's churn up that HCl, boys, that hydrochloric acid. Let's churn it up, boys. In what? Anticipation of what you put in your mouth and chew. So you see, if that is what happens with digestion, all you have to do is look at it or smell it. And salivary amylase begins to pool in your mouth. They say your mouth begins to water, yes. And your stomach acid begins to churn itself to break down your food into its most smallest parts so it can be digested and assimilated and to be used as energy. If that happens, why did it happen? Because you entered the state of hunger. That's why it happened. So you didn't have to make your stomach do anything. You didn't have to make your mouth water. You got into the state. What got you in the state? your senses. But the senses are driven by what? You and your desire, right? It's driven by your memory. It's the same reason why I paid an ungodly amount of money for imported mangoes from the Caribbean, like a Jamaican mango. Oh, I paid a pretty penny for that bad boy. But why? Because of the memory of picking it from the tree myself and the way it smells. That's why I bought it. I was driven by that memory. And it put me in the mood to go back to my childhood to eat something that I was familiar with. And that's why I chose it. You see how our choices are influenced by the past? So if you see that your choice of food, whether you like it or dislike it, is influenced by your past encounters, past experience, what do you think going forward you'll be doing? I chose based upon that memory that drove me, but I was aware of why I did it. I knew that that was from my childhood, and I said, ooh, let me frolic down memory lane. I deliberately, because the smell and the look of the mango triggered the memory. But I did not allow the memory to just rule me. I saw the memory for what it was, and I said, yes, you know what? I choose to remember that now. So you see, when you're making decisions, we make decisions from past experience. But if you don't know that that's what you're doing, you will continue to make the same choice every time. So the power to be deliberate also makes you realize what? It makes you realize why you are choosing what you are choosing in your daily life. So you're not just being governed by the invisible habit. I hope you see how much power you truly have this morning. Sit down and ponder it. Why did I do that? And if you're honest with yourself, you'll see why. And when you're honest with yourself and you see why, now you can choose. Do I want to continue in this fashion or do I want to change? Do I want to continue doing that old habit or do I want to do a new one? Well, that depends. Did the old habit make you do dumb things? Well, then you might want to trade in that old habit. How do you trade in a habit? By choosing what action you want to do over and over and over and over and over again. You see, we're always going to be habitual, but the key is to choose the habit you want to submit to. Choose the habit that you're not going to say, no, darling, not today. Choose the habit that's not going to make you say that. Choose the habit that you will say, oh, yes, more of that. Choose that habit. But you got to create it, and you create it by choosing it. So, this morning, I trust that this makes sense to you so that you will stop saying, oh, I'm so tired. No, honey. When you make a choice that you deliberately wanted to make, you are energized by that choice. You are energized by it. Believe me when I say that. But hey, hearsay is not always fun. So why don't you pay attention to see? When you make a particular choice, it energizes you or it depletes you of energy. Pay attention. How else will you know if you're not paying attention? So you see, when you look at the choice that you make and you say, well, this brings me energy and, it hypes me up. Well, I want to keep doing that. Or you look at the other one and you say, oh, God, I can't. No, that's not acceptable anymore. I'm just dragging myself. But you know what we do? We look at those choices and we say, oh, this person is making me do this. This person is making me do that. It is their fault. No. When you cast off the mood of victim, it feels so good, doesn't it? Because now you don't have to cry in the corner and hope that somebody will care for you. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to look at yourself in disgust in the mirror and go, why do I always do that? Why can't I be more bold? Well, throw off the cloak or the mood of victimhood and put on the robe of glory, power, which says what? I don't cower. I make things bend. Why do I make things bend? Because I bend. I tell it what to be. And when you tell it what to be, what are you telling it to be? You're telling yourself what to be. And when you tell yourself what to be, you already know what you are becoming. And when you know what you are becoming, you are invigorated and excited by it. And you follow through with the becoming. It is a mental attitude and a mood that you enter into, and then everything will flow from there. You don't force a mood. Trust me. We don't force a mood. Oh, we can try. Viagra forces a mood. It does. But if you persuade yourself in the right way, you'll embody that new mood. Entrepreneur, top student, whatever the mood is, embody it. Persuade yourself. Talk yourself into it. Oh, don't you know you're your own hype man or hype woman? Indeed you are, my beautiful friends. Anywho, don't let me prattle on. You know I tend to. And now that we have a little bit of quiet, let's get the bowl. What mood do you want to be in today? Do you want to be in a mood of Thanksgiving today? Well, who are you saying thank you to? The one who made the choice. Oh? Well, if the kingdom of heaven is within and Jesus Christ is within and God is within, and you say thank you, who are you saying thank you to? The one within. And the one within is what animates us, gives us life, because it tells us, as within, so without. If, quote unquote, Jesus Christ was not within us or God was not within us, we would not have life. Because that is the animating power. So if that is the animating power and that is what is making me speak this morning, well, then who am I saying thank you to? The animating power within myself. But you can choose to come for me or not. It's all good. But at the end of the day, you will still have to be bold and take up your scepter of power to make your choice. So who's making the choice? I am making the choice. George isn't making the choice. I am making the choice. Anywho, let me get the bowl this morning for us. And as you hear the bowl this morning, make a choice. But do not make a choice as if you were Wimpy or a grasshopper. Make the choice as if you are the one who commands. That's how you make the choice. With authority. Authority. We want to rule others but can't rule ourselves. You better pick up that mantle of authority and choose what your day will be like. Choose it. How do you want to feel today? As you hear the bowl, decide. I feel good. Anyway, let me get the bowl, yes? Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 21. Matthias, Hilarion. Hey, Driving T. Long time no see, stranger. It's symmetric. I see you. And YouTube and Facebook, I see y'all's too. I see y'all's. I don't know what the lecture is for tonight, okay? I haven't chosen it yet. But it is sure to be lit. 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just don't know what it is. And go forth and enjoy the beautiful day that you create. Of course, go forth and enjoy the beautiful day. As within, so without. Yes.